what's up, Airsofters? This is Jet, DesertFox, and I'm joined with Evike Matt. Right now, we are in upstate New York getting ready for Operation Bad Blood.
Well, right now we're in a hotel room.
Well, right now we're at a hotel room, and Bad Blood is tomorrow.
Yes.
What Matt and I decided to do is sit down and give you guys a little bit more insight into the recent travels we've been going on. So we'll cover Broken Home, Red Storm, and just travel in general and getting the opportunity to travel as airsofters, which is, you know, honestly, it's a dream come true, especially for someone like myself. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean there aren't a huge amount of jobs where you get to play with toy guns and shoot at people and get flown, you know, around the country to do it. So
yeah, so it's amazing. I personally want to say thank you to everybody that watches my channel, and, you know, showing your support, you know, letting me know you guys like the videos and just watching the videos. So thank you. Let's talk a little bit about Bad Blood. So this is my first year here at Bad Blood. This is your...
It was my second, but it's the third time we've done Bad Blood. We've been doing it for the past 3 years. Okay, so why don't you explain to everybody what Bad Blood is? Because I'm not even sure, quite honestly. That's okay. Bad Blood as an event, we've been doing for about 3 years. And the past 2 years, I've had the pleasure of actually attending. Bad Blood was at its very core a way for Evike.com to give back to its customers and to support a good cause while also creating another interesting airsoft event. And the more airsoft events there are, the more people can get into the whole mil-sim atmosphere and ultimately make the sport bigger. So initially the idea was to create a game about as far away from us in the continental United States as we could get, to you know, ensure that our customers and fans of our YouTube channel knew that they were being appreciated. So the idea was to create an event out here in New York, to, you know, East Coast as far away as we could get. And the concept of Bad Blood came about because we really wanted the event to mean more than just let's have an event. We wanted it to be bigger than the airsoft industry. So we decided that we would donate some of the proceeds from the event to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, thus Bad Blood. See the tie of blood. See,
I see what
that's where it comes
there. Yeah. Oh, you guys,
well,
so clever.
And then we also, you know, because there aren't a whole lot of events that happen, you know, in such a large scale, we wanted to open the events up to as large of a population as we could, which is why the events tend to be somewhat larger. Especially our Bad Blood event tends to be a large event because we want to bring out as many people as want to participate, and ultimately because for a good cause, that's, you know, that ultimately benefits everybody. But yeah, so that's why we're here in New York for Bad Blood 2014.
All right, awesome. Let's talk about travel now. So everyone, well, for most of the people that have been watching my channel and the Evike.com channel, you guys know that we've been traveling a lot lately. We've been to Operation American Milsim, Operation Broken Home 3, Operation Red Storm.
Irene last year.
Oh, Irene last year. So we do a lot of traveling. So I know that this is going to be a question in the comments. How do we travel with our airsoft guns?
Not to mention the rest of our gear.
Yeah, and the rest of the gear.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get into too much in depth into that, so the link is going to be right here.
Because you've already gone over.
Yeah, I've already made a video about this, so click right here or in the description below to watch that video. Basically, in a nutshell, though, you're going to put your gun in a hard case, put your equipment, all your gear, in a checked luggage. The hard case will be checked in as a firearm.
And locked.
Locked, and yeah, you take it over to TSA, they look at it, they go, okay, that's an airsoft gun. They throw it on the plane, and you all go to your destination.
You know, the great thing about doing that, too, is because you have control over the locks, you're not using TSA locks. You're using just like a master lock that you can get at your local home improvement store. The advantage to doing that is once the box or the gun case is inspected and you put your slip in there, nobody else gets any access to it. So it's completely secure. And this is not a package that they're going to lose because it is treated separately and specially differently than the rest of your gear.
Yeah. So
The
it's pretty
one-
simple.
Yeah, the one problem we ran into most recently when we went to the Opline Claw Red Storm West
Oh,
game
yeah.
was all the gun cases got there fine. But one of the guys that we came with, all of his gear and clothing were in his checked luggage, and that ended up going missing. And so we were able to. The other guys on the team were able to scrounge up enough gear for him to play for the weekend, but ultimately that was a loss. But the gun bag, his gun case, no problems.
Yeah. Gun made it. Gear did not. And you all know how it is playing in loaner gear. It's just not the same.
It doesn't feel right.
It's just not the same. Let's talk about some nuances of travel and going to all these events and such.
Well, for me, I don't know. Like I function really well on a lot of sleep, and when you're at a Milsim event, you're not always getting the most sleep that you possibly could, and then you factor in travel. Not saying that I don't appreciate going. It's not that. It's just we're already working on borrowed time.
You know what I really wish, and this might come off a little out there. I wish there was a faster way to travel. Like okay, like an airplane is pretty fast, but come on, it's 2014. Can we make something faster? Like
a transporter?
Maybe like like an instant transporter, because that's pretty hard to do physically. But I mean, like a super bullet train or something like that. Like
for a second there, I was just like, you're gonna come out with Cordura skin and a skin plate carrier.
If we could just bend space and time. And make that a thing, I would like that a lot.
Of course, then the sky's the limit. I mean, we could play Airsoft on other planets.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, imagine the trajectory of a BB round in a vacuum.
Would that even move?
Of course it do. I mean, it's still a projectile. There's still.
Yeah, but there's no.
Oh
air.
no, there's no air.
Yeah, there's no air.
Sorry, I'm making your video suck now. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, we'd all have to use CO2. We'd all have to use CO2 powered or HBA powered.
Okay, but that's just my thing. Especially traveling West Coast to East Coast, you basically just burn an entire day because of the time difference. And that's the one thing that I'm just always like, oh man, I have to leave either super duper early Friday and still get to, let's say, somewhere on the East Coast, and it's still going to be like 11 p.m. whenever I make it there.
And we're not even that hardcore. I mean, how many people have we run into at these events that drive up for 10 hours to get somewhere?
Yeah, I've been in that boat too. Driving to like NorCal, which is, for me, that's a 6-7 hour drive to get up to like Game Pod and stuff. So I know your struggle. The struggle is real. Yeah. Red Storm West, that was up in Portland, Oregon, and that was at the amazing paper mill, the Blue Heron.
That's what all the buzz is about now.
Yeah, amazing looking AO, also very dangerous, as we all learned from my injury video. Now, Matt, you were with me.
I was.
Well, you were kind of with me. I don't want to give away too much of the series, because it's actually really cool how we got to where we were, and we were just by ourselves. So you had no idea where I was.
No,
right
no.
after...
As soon as I went down in your video when I'm on the catwalk, and then you had to put some distance between myself and you to make sure that you could get angle on the guys that were still looking at me. And at that point, because I was sitting in place, I really had no idea where you had gone. I saw you on my right, and then you went through that doorway to my left,
where the stairwell was, and that's where the injury occurred. Now, what a lot of people don't know is Matt also fell through the stairwell with the missing rung.
the same staircase.
The same exact one. It's just he was. In fact, if you watch the video, you'll hear a noise, and that's why I get up and move. That noise you hear.
Was that me?
Is Matt coming down the stairwell and also tripping a little bit. But luckily for Matt, he had, just a little scratch. So it's just weird that I went...
We operate exactly the same.
It's just I'm so extreme, I have to put a 4-inch laceration in my leg.
No, but okay, so I for the amount of people that were at the event, There were what, 200?
There's 100 and something people.
For the size of the event, I mean, the AO itself had 1.2 million square feet of usable space. 52 buildings. Not a single one of them was probably one that you should be running around in without supervision or without having it clearly marked and taped off. And that was done for the most part. You know, I think there was one of those flukes that one just was missed. But I think for the amount of people that we had in the size space that we had, everyone was extremely safe. And it was just, you know, sheer happenstance that you and I were the ones that happened to find that one spot.
The one spot.
I don't want to give away anything because we were underground, we were on roofs, we were climbing through, you know, tunnels and things that.
Milsim video game paradise is what you can equate this to.
Imagine like, I Am Legend when everybody just disappeared and just kind of left everything.
Yeah.
Because we'd go into offices and the paperwork was still there, people's pictures of their families were still on the wall. It was the eeriest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But certainly made for a very immersive Milsim experience. And that, I think, is probably the biggest reason why I like traveling to the events. Because, I mean, you just kind of, I mean, once you've been to an event, you've kind of been there. You know, and then so being able to travel to other ones that you haven't been to, you really get a whole new sense of immersion.
Yeah. You also appreciate things more too. Like one thing that I've noticed is, I mean, my two kind of home fields are SC Village, SC Viper in Corona, and then my own field in Oro Grande. And I mean, those are great. I love those fields, but having the opportunity to travel around and experience new AOs and play in different areas is awesome. And then the other thing too that I noticed a lot is the communities. The communities of players varies a lot depending on where you are in the U.S.
Oh yeah.
For myself, I've noticed that the Midwest, East Coast players are a lot more Milsim oriented than our West Coast airsofters. And I'm not quite sure. Well, I think my speculation is that it's because they get events every now and then.
Right.
So it'll be an event, and then it'll probably be about 3 or 4 months out until the next event. So they take gaming very seriously, and these are big events.
Immersion's a big thing.
Yeah, immersion's a huge thing. Unlike SoCal, California, we've got an event every weekend. It feels like. So you're just like, okay, well I missed so and so's game. I'll just get the next one, you know, next month or whatever, or the following weekend and such.
I think a lot of it too is the pace of things. In California, even with the Milsim games, everything's very fast paced. I feel like even when we go to big Milsim events, the capturing of objectives is pushed very, very hard to move quickly, and COs like to see progress quickly, and airsofters like to see engagements quickly, and that kind of filters down and makes for very fast gameplay. And the thing that I noticed in the Midwest when we went to Irene, and out at the Bad Blood game last year as well, is everybody's totally cool just kind of taking their time and just systematically, you know, and effectively taking down objectives and taking goals. And it's a totally different experience, and I absolutely love it. I love the slower pace of things because it really gets you to think. You know, it really gets you to try to outthink your opponents and really, you know, getting into flanking and things like that. And that's just not something we focus terribly heavily on in California.
Yeah, Speedsoft, go!
But I mean, I've always been a Speedsofter. That's, you know, that's always been my thing. And so, as a person who's new to Milsim events,
now do you see a difference between like East Coast airsofters and Midwest airs? I think there's a difference. I just haven't pinpointed it. Have you seen any kind of difference in them? I know they're both very oriented toward Milsim and immersion, but I haven't seen any defining trait that separates the two.
It'd be hard for me to say because really the only East Coast game I've had the pleasure of going to yet is our own Bad Blood game, and I know we're talking about going to some more East Coast games, you know, with the remainder of this year and in the years coming. So, you know, I really couldn't make any conclusions yet. I've got to say I've been impressed with the Midwest to the East, all over. I mean, you know, both of the places I've played have been incredibly impressed with the people I've played with. And I think part of that's because it's a new experience, and people are so darn polite out here. It's just hard to get upset with people. Everyone calls their hits, and everyone's, you know, having a good time.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like everyone's pretty good natured. Even when somebody like doesn't call a hit, like you'll have an airsoft walk up and just like, hey, you didn't call your hit, and so the guy's just like, oh, my bad, sorry, and then it's over. That's it. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no bickering.
All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up this little show that I made
on a whim
15 minutes ago in the hotel room. I just wanted to give you guys more insight into the travels between Matt and myself. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more of this stuff, leave a comment below saying, you know, loved it, hated it.
Little pro tip while traveling. So when you bring your backpack on the plane with you, if you are traveling, and you've got all your stuff squared away, bring an empty Camelback with you. Okay, dry it out, empty it out. When you go through your security checkpoint and everything, you're good to go. Once you get into the area where you're waiting at the what's that called, the gate. When you're waiting for the gates, they have all those convenience stores, so you can get bottled water and put water in your Camelback, and then you got water for the plane, so you don't have to constantly be asking them for water.
Amazing.
Right?
Thank you so much for watching. As always, this is Jet DesertFox, and this is
Matt from Evike.com.
All right, we'll see you guys on the field. Boop.
Todd, look to your right.